All right, let's answer your question and give you some good news.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that.
I'm on her side, and I don't know exactly what her side is.
I think you're totally spot on with that.
I sound inept just to help you out.
It's been a rough week, thanks to your advice.
Are you a regular listener to this program?
As much as I can be.
There's your problem.
I would not ever disagree with you because you're so smart. You have a lot of answers to a lot of things.
You don't want to listen to me on the radio.
So what do I do?
I can't give you any direction.
Thank you for empowering me. I needed that.
I'm losing you, buddy. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Well, do you know somebody who does?
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Of all the bumpers that my producer man Andrew Kruchek put together, I think that could be close to my favorite one. I like that. I know what you're trying to say. Nice to have you here on The Doctor Is In. I do want to know what you're trying to say. You know, you bat 300, you get into the Hall of Fame in baseball. So if I can kind of bat 300 in understanding what things you are presenting, I'm Hall of Famer. The number here is 877-573-7825, 877-57 equal. That's the number to call to get onto the program. Question about something in your life, circumstances, somebody in your life, something you just want to run by somebody. We can't do therapy here, obviously. And you notice I'm diligently careful never to diagnose. There's no way you can do that in a setting like this. But we can talk a little bit, give education, and ponder possible repercussions of certain directions that you choose in your life. 877-57 equal. Okay, a whole bunch of announcements. I'm starting to feel like a peanut vendor at the ballpark. Peanuts here. Peanuts here. Got to go out and best wish the EWTN radio affiliate KSWZ FM 105.3, Manhattan, Kansas. Probably a little different than Manhattan, New York. They've been on the air for 11 years. Kent Hampton and all the folks at the Sword of St. George. From all the folks here at EWTN Radio 11 years. I've been noticing that. A lot of these congratulations. These affiliates and these independent stations, they've been around a long time, and that says something. It says you people know how to use folks' money very, very responsibly and build upon it. So very, very nice. Okay. Immediate stuff coming up, of course, is Atlanta. We will be shooting 4 episodes of Living Right with Dr. Ray at Holy Spirit Catholic Church in Atlanta on August 18th and 19th. TheQuestAtlanta.com is where you sign up. And The Quest, a big boomer station down there in that major market, is cooperating with us. They're our partner in presenting the TV show. If you want to be in the live audience, of course, your face will be on EWTN, and that's kind of fun. And the live audience doesn't just sit there. I got to tell you that. You're an active part of the show. You're fun. We interact. We use you for bits. We get volunteers. You don't have to volunteer if you don't want to. We use role play from people in the audience. So it's a good time. Everybody says that. Except maybe my producer who says, Ray, you're not very good. But that said, this is season number 16. 16? Yeah, 16 coming up. So go to thequestatlanta.com. Now, speaking of radio affiliates, Guadalupe Radio Network, their Dallas affiliate, has asked me to prevent a little Freudian slip there, to present a 7-week online parenting course. And that's nice. It's been a long time since I've done that. And to get into the nitty-gritty, the depths of putting you in charge, helping you stand strong against a culture no longer on your side, against relatives no longer on your side, against kids giving you trouble. I guarantee it. We'll help you have resolve. We'll help you to raise that 1 in 100. Definitely will do that. So if you simply go to GRN like Guadalupe Radio Network, GRNonline.com and /academy. Rough /academy. Go there. You can sign up. 7 weeks, and I guarantee you, we're going to start out with putting you in charge. We're going to deal with some of the most common discipline problems. We're going to get you to the point where if you think you're a good parent, we're going to try to make you even better. We're going to make you strong. And if you think you're struggling, if you're getting wobbly in your discipline, well, we'll take care of that too. So go to grnonline.com, and we can only take 50. That's it. The limit is 50 people. That's all I'm going to take. So hope to see you. All right. I got to see. This comes from a quote. I wrote a book about 5-6 years ago. It's called Jesus, the Master Psychologist. Now, in the book, I took, let me see how many of those there are. I think that was 18. 2, 3, 4, 5, 14. Oh, no, 21. 21 of our Lord's prescriptions for a better, holier living. And each chapter talked about how these make sense psychologically, or how psychology, modern psychology, says, oh, no, we don't do it that way. Now, here's one it's very blatant. Here's what Jesus said in Luke. So you also, when you have done all that is commanded you, say, thank you. I knew I could do it. Pretty proud of myself. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't say that. Scratch that. Let me try this again. So you also, when you have done all that is commanded you, say, we are unworthy servants. Jesus. Did you take any synagogue counseling classes? Mm-hmm. To counsel someone to call himself an unworthy servant? That's like asking for an F. Collide headlong into the self-esteem gospel. There's another translation that gives Jesus' words even more force. He says, when you have done all that is commanded, say, we are worthless servants. Oh, what? Jesus, what about self-esteem? Worthless? Worthless. If you go to the computer, I did this some years ago, and I searched children and self-esteem. Now, at that time, my son informs me they don't list the number of potential options anymore. I don't know. I don't get on the computer all that much. But at that time, there were 100 million options under children and self-esteem. You scroll that, you're going to get tendonitis in your wrist. And then counter that. Look up children and humility. It's a very humbling experience because there's a small fraction of the number of self-esteem listings. When's the last time you heard an expert talk about, much less advocate, the virtue of humility? Picture a little kid. The kid is 10 years old. He's a star player. He's a star player on the baseball team. Goes up to his coach. Mr. Baseworthy, could you put Mickey in for me? He doesn't get to play much. And if you notice, poor Mickey, he's always hidden out in right field, deep in right field whenever they play, hoping no ball goes out there. And in Little League, they don't. He doesn't get to play much. And let him bat for me. And put him in at my shortstop position for just at least a few innings. What would the coach's reaction be? I would suspect that there'd be some acknowledgement that that's such a generous thing for this young, talented 10-year-old to do, to sacrifice his own position to let Mickey play. But I think he'd also be a little perplexed. thinking, well, no, you're better, and with you there, we win. I mean, it's nice that you're thinking of doing that, but I'm coach here, and we got to win. It's important to win, even though we're not keeping score. It's interesting about that, isn't it? Why put the best players in positions if you're not keeping score? My kids played Little League way back. They didn't keep score. The grown-ups said it's not important to keep score. The only people who knew run by run what the score was the kids. They knew what the score was. They kept track of it. The grown-ups, in their enlightened psychological "we're all winners here" approach, told the kids, no, we don't count. We're not counting runs. We're not counting runs. And these little 8-year-olds are looking at them like, why not? Isn't that the goal of baseball, to count runs? They gave out trophies at the end of the year for everybody. Everybody got a trophy. Everybody. If you breathed anywhere near a baseball, you got a trophy. I asked my kids, I said, you guys, what do you think about giving those trophies back? And they looked at me like, yeah, we didn't win anything. We didn't earn them. Okay, we just go tell your coach, hand them back to him. He wouldn't let him. I can't say for sure, but I kind of saw him out of the corner of his eye glaring at me like I was some kind of ogre guarding the bridge. My kids knew, Dad, we didn't win. Dad, this is a joke. Everybody getting a trophy for what? All it does is it makes trophies useless, meaningless. The cartoon movie, the animated story, The Incredibles. And they were a family with various super abilities. And Dash, the little son, his ability was super speed. Super speed. He wanted to run. He wanted to run in the school's track races. His mother wouldn't let him. She said, no, Dash, that's not fair. That's not fair. You have ability they don't have. And old Dash said, yeah, but I want to run. I'm special. His mother said, Dash, everybody is special. And little Dash said one of the more profound lines. He said, if everybody is special, nobody is special. One more example. One more. Got a call from grandparents. I think it was their third grade granddaughter who ran an event on the school's track and field days toward the end of the year. Got a call from the teacher. They got a call from the teacher. I don't know why they were, either they had custody of this little girl or they had gone into meetings and the teacher was familiar with them. So she called him. She was disturbed. She was concerned about their little granddaughter. Oh boy, what did this little girl do? Well, it seems that she finished very close to last in the sprint. Later, she went to her teacher and said, here's my trophy. I don't deserve this. I didn't win. I'm not a very fast runner. Do you think the teacher said, how insightful you are? What a mature thing to say. Oh, no. She called the grandparents. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about her self-image. Does she put herself down a lot? I talked to the grandparents about this. This was a pretty happy little 8-9-year-old girl. And she's very realistic. She said, I'm not a fast runner, and that's okay with me. I think a better word than self-esteem or positive self-image is sturdy self-image, which means I have talents and I have deficits. And I know that. And that's okay. The deficits that I can correct, I will. And the ones I can't, like this little girl's foot speed, well, that's the way it is. The comedian Emo Phillips said this. Let's try to imitate his voice. A computer beat me in chess, but it was no match for me in kickboxing. You got to know your talents, and you got to know what you can't do. Sturdy self-image. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number to call to get onto the program. I'm Dr. Ray.
Join Guest House for their 6th annual Run Over Addiction 5K and the 1 Mile Fun Run Saturday, August 1st at the Scripps Mansion in Lake Orion. Virtual 5K runners can also join from anywhere in the world. Your participation helps ensure that the ordained and consecrated, including those in formation, can access care for addictions and other behavioral health conditions. To run or to sponsor, click the Events tab at guesthouse.org today.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi. We know personally that when a loved one passes suddenly, we are relieved that a will was already in place. At mycatholicwill.com, a legal will is as simple as 15 minutes filling out information about your family. Thanks to our partnership with mycatholicwill.com, when you use the promo code AVE, A-V-E, your will is absolutely free. No hidden costs whatsoever. Visit mycatholicwill.com.
Ave Maria in the Afternoon is underwritten by the following nonprofit organization: Real Estate for Life. Buying or selling your home or business property? Real Estate for Life can connect you with one of 1,400 pro-life real estate agents around the world. When Real Estate for Life receives a referral fee, they donate 70% to Ave Maria Radio and Human Life International. More information at realestateforlife.org or 877-LIFE-US1. That's realestateforlife.org.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Doctor Is In. When I used to play the organ with my drummer friend at restaurants, sometimes early in the evening, it took a while for the crowd to get in, and it was just quiet. There was very few people in there. We'd start playing to essentially nobody. And my friend, if we saw somebody pulling into the parking lot, their lights would shine off the windows. My friend would say, shh, 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 stop playing. Headlights. Well, that similar thing happens here on the radio program. It takes a little while for the momentum for the calls to come in. And I told Eric when the calls come in, I said, shh, 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 be quiet over there. Be quiet. We got a call pouring in. Oh, yeah, momentum does have men in it, doesn't it? Oh, man, the word men is everywhere. Can I talk to William now? Ready? Okay. Hi, William.
Hi there, Dr. Ray. It's so nice to speak with you.
Thanks, sir.
I'm in Alabama visiting a friend of mine I served with in the Marine Corps along with my son, and I was listening to your program, and you were talking about this 7-week online parenting course, and I immediately went online to sign up for it. It said that they're not accepting registration yet. So I emailed the email. I said, please sign me up. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to call because I'd like to better understand how Jesus, the master psychologist, in what chapter and verse in Luke talks about when you've done all this that is commanded, we are worthless servants. And I am a worthless servant. I served in the Marine Corps for 25 years, and I'm humble and humiliated by my service. But I'm also wanting to fight for my marriage. And my wife has just filed for divorce again. This is the 7th time in 33 years.
Oh, geez.
And so I'm going through it, but I'm trusting God with the outcome in His provision. And my wife was diagnosed with bipolar manic depression when back in 2000 when I was serving, after the 3rd time she attempted suicide. And so the Marine Corps and the Navy saved her life, and I'm grateful to that. And so I'm trying to be faithful to the gift of life that's been given to me and our 5 children.
Okay, a couple of things, sir. A couple of things. One, obviously got a heavy personal problem here. It may be, and I may have jumped the gun. I don't know. I got to hope Dave Palmer or somebody over there at the Guadalupe Dallas affiliate can get a hold of me and call Andrew and somebody and just simply say, okay, we are not taking reservations yet. I don't know. I thought we were, but maybe we're not until starting August 1st. That could be. So check with them and find out for me what I'm screwing up. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I find it interesting, your wife apparently has backed off from divorce 6 times.
Yes. After we've almost gone to the very end. And then, what I've done each time is I've gone to the Lord in prayer and I surrender to His will, and amazing things come of that I could never have imagined beforehand. And so I'm once again facing that same scenario, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you with this, show me what your will is and I will follow it once again.
I'm hearing you say, to use psychobabble, that your wife's a bit unpredictable about all this stuff.
Well, I would say it more so that I believe that the Holy Spirit moves within her, and it gives her peace to return to the marriage and to seek her counseling through her doctor and her therapist, to take the medication, and to trust me that I do love her and that I'm doing everything I can for our family.
Okay.
So it's more, I'm going to take responsibility. It's my responsibility to love her as Christ loved the church, as Paul taught us in Ephesians. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but, we as husbands have to remember that we have to be willing to lay down our lives for our wives and surrender all. And in doing that, that's when I think that the Lord moves through us.
William,
healing in our family.
Your perseverance is heroic, my friend. It's absolutely heroic. I could see an awful lot of people saying, okay, quit clubbing me with the divorce club. Enough. Either walk through it or be quiet. I could see most people doing that after 7 times. So your perseverance is heroic, my friend. And sounds like God's giving you the strength, because human strength would be stretched to its limit. Also, one more thing about the Jesus the Master Psychologist. Yeah, he says what he's saying really, and I talked about it in the chapter, what he's really saying is you're not worthless. Obviously, all over Scripture, we're infinitely valuable. What he's saying is don't expect accolades for doing what you're supposed to do. In other words, don't get a participation trophy just because you ran in the race. Thank you, William. I appreciate your call there, sir. Tanya we'll have a minute. Okay, Andrew just informed me, not even a minute, 25 seconds. Okay, we'll get to your calls right after this break. Got to get somebody over there at Guadalupe. If you guys are listening, this is proven to me you guys ain't listening. Call Andrew, 877-573-7825, 877-5070. Call Andrew or Eric and just tell me, am I jumping the gun? I mean, I had like one person already in my audience. That's more than I thought I'd get.
Pre-planning your cemetery arrangements is the most loving gift you can give to your family. Resurrection Cemetery in Clinton Township is one of the largest Catholic cemeteries in Michigan, offering many burial, crypt, and cremation options. Featuring incredible Catholic artwork throughout, Resurrection Cemetery's beautifully maintained grounds are second to none. Our compassionate staff makes pre-planning simple. Call 586-412-6244 or visit mtelliott.com/resurrection today.
This is Dr. A. Thank you for joining me. Okay, as I promised, Tanya from North Carolina. She has a daughter, just graduated high school, and wants to take a gap year. She wants to go out and ski and find herself for the next year, and either that or she's going to go into a monastery and just kind of sit and pray for a year. Maybe that isn't either one of those. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
What's she want to do in this gap year?
She doesn't really know. I think our fear is I think she said this even that, she doesn't want to go to school. She'll get her own job and be independent, and she can do that without going to school. But what we've told her, the deal is you can have 6 months or a semester, and you need to go back the next semester.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, she graduated college or high school?
High school, and she went to early college, so she has almost an associate's degree. She's, a smart girl.
Well, she got those particular credits in high school, and her attitude is,
yes.
I'm sick of school. I want to go work and make money.
Yep.
Do you have a problem with that?
Big time.
How come?
Big time. We don't feel that's not the best she could do. You
think she'll find that out? I mean, she goes out there and she gets a job and she can barely make ends meet. She may be awaked by reality and say, this ain't working. I better go back to school.
Well, she's driving to Kansas. That's where my family is, relatives, and staying. It's going to take her a while, I think, to figure that out, if she figures that out, because she, can stay with my mom, her grandmother. She also has an aunt in Wichita, and she could go stay with them, I think, rent-free for both of them. I don't, I'm afraid it's going to take years, and then
well, what you're concerned about is this, that she's just going to kind of sluggishly drift because she doesn't have a whole lot of bills, because she's mooching off her relatives, and she's bringing in her $280 clear a week, and that's enough to pay for her smartphone and her car, and so therefore she could sustain herself like that for years.
I think so.
Okay. Whose car is it, by the way, that she's taken to Kansas?
She's, we're paying for everything right now.
Well, see, now wait a minute here, Tanya. You're going, I wish she wouldn't do that, but you're the ones that's making it possible.
Well, I don't want her to go into debt buying a car. I think she wants to buy a car. And my husband told her, that's to get a decent car to drive to Kansas, that's probably, close to $10,000.
She doesn't have a job, does she? Doesn't have a job.
Yes, she does. Yes.
Okay. So can she pay for that car with her job?
I think it would take all her money. I think she has about $5,000 or $6,000 in
Good.
the bank.
She'll burn through it. When my daughter left, she was 21 or something. She had $4,000 in the bank. She burned through that in the first 6 months. She realized how foolish that was. She realized it. Yeah. She regrets it. And she's living massively more responsibly now because she knows she has to. I guess I would say this. If she's 18 or maybe even 19.
Yes.
Legally, she can say, this is what I'm going to do, Mom. Yeah. And really, you can't stop her. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. And if you're saying we want to persuade her not to do that, well, my guess is, Tanya, that you really have tried. You've argued it up one side and down the other, and she's looking at you like, no, I can do that. No, I can do this. No, that's what. Well, if that happens, I'll do this. Well, if you say this, I'll do that. Yeah, it's all impulsive, and it's all short-sighted. I got that part. But I think at this point, first of all, if it were me, I'd probably quit paying for everything. Say, well, okay, honey, you want to be an independent adult? Be an independent adult. You're on your own, baby. Love you.
Yes.
Be big girl. Because, I think she just thinks, okay, this is going to be a lot cooler. And, yeah, if I can't make ends meet, I'll live with relatives. Yeah. And there could be other parts here, too. And, again, if you were in my office,
I think she's stressed. I think she got stressed. So
Well,
kind of
I'm chasing this one too. She also figures you're probably, now again, I'm really speculating and I could be way off. You're probably a little more supervisory, a little more moral, a little more high expectation of her conduct than where she's going. Wrong?
I think you're wrong.
Okay. All right.
She's open to convent. She, very.
Okay. Well,
faith is
well
very
wait a minute here. Wait a minute. If you say I'm wrong, but you're also telling me that those relatives are going to let her live there free?
Because we're family. I mean, I'm very close to my family. We just live. We go back every year.
So basically what they're going to do, wait a minute. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to feed into your fear, which is she could live like that forever because she's not paying any bills. And if say
they're not fearful, they're telling me kind of the opposite. It's she's a girl, she'll get married. She doesn't need to stress out about school. That's what they're doing with their kids.
All right. Well,
letting them go.
Okay. Chances are it's gonna blow up. Chances are.
I hope so.
You got to be ready to pick up the pieces. But it's interesting. I find it fascinating that these strict relatives are saying, "Okay, you can live here for free." I find that fascinating.
I don't know if they're not strict. I guess they're very Catholic, but they're not.
Well, there you go. See, now I just said you had higher standards, and you said no, you're wrong. And now you're saying, oh yeah, they're not real strict. And I was, okay, so that means
we have higher standards we all have high standards in our faith, but we want our kids to go to college.
Your parenting standards are high. The problem is she's not going to go to college. Not now.
No.
So given that, for your peace, you got to be willing to say, my kid's making this decision. Okay, I'm not fearing for her safety. I'm not fearing for her well-being. I'm fearing for her foolishness and her short-sightedness. But I think reality could kick in. The thing that would bug me about reality kicking in, and I think that your relatives are going to delay reality kicking in. That's just my speculation. Because you said, well, they do that to their kids. And so I think your daughter thinks it's going to be better over there than it is here.
Yes.
Okay. I knew. How did it take me so long to get you there? My dear. You have nothing to worry about. I don't think. It's one of those situations. I had several kids. One quit high school 3 weeks before graduation. He turned 18. He's making a fortune. I have a couple others that are well north of 100K who just graduated high school, and that's it. They're technologically, they got the trades. It's kind of amazing. So, ride it out, Tanya, I think. I better hurry and get to it. There's a lot of folks up there. And remember the rule. If you're on the line at the end of the program, you're first up at any time you call in the future. All the way out to Armageddon. Simon, calling from Ontario, Canada. His sister is struggling. Her oldest daughter is living at home with her boyfriend. I mean, I could see her living out with her boyfriend. Living at home? Hi, Simon.
Oh, yeah, almost. She's living in a mobile home on the property, so she's not in the house. She's on the property right there. And, so basically she moved in there a couple of years ago. My sister let her move in there with her boyfriend after they graduated high school because getting rent in places around where we live is almost impossible these days. And they've been together for a long time. They're a long-term committed relationship, and they're super responsible young adults, got jobs and all that stuff. But now my sister's having this moral dilemma about them not being married and living together. And so now she's struggling.
Why didn't she have that moral dilemma before?
Yeah, well, yeah. That, yeah. So I don't know, so maybe she just didn't listen to it then, or she just let them move in anyway, or didn't have the dilemma then, but now it's cropping its head, I guess.
Has she changed in her moral perspective about things?
Well, she's fairly new to the church in the last 5 years, I guess. And so she's evolving her understanding of the church and, trying to be a good Catholic and follow all the rules and all that sort of stuff. So
at the time when the daughter moved in with the boyfriend on their property in their trailer, correct?
That's right.
Okay. She didn't see any problem with it. She's a good kid. She's not on drugs. She got good grades in school. He's a nice boy.
Yeah. Keep her close to home. She's close to home. She's part of the family.
This is the way everybody does it nowadays. No problem. And then she started getting closer to her faith and recognizing, gee, if God says don't do it this way, he must have pretty good reasons for not doing it that way. It isn't that the Catholic Church is saying, we're going to try to stifle your fun. You ain't going to be able to live together and get physical. No. We're Middle Ages. That's what's going to happen to you. No, she's recognizing this isn't good. And she's probably seeing that they have no intention of changing anything about this. As the years are rolling by, they're not making any move. They're saying, this is good. I like it this way. True?
Well, I would say they're working towards it. I would say they have plans to get married at some point in the future as they get more stable, and they're saving up to buy themselves a home. So they are doing something. They're not just kind of coasting through life, if you will.
Well, here's the question. How many years they've been living in that trailer?
I think about 2.
Oh, okay. Shorter than I thought. I thought it'd be more than that. She wants to, quote unquote, persuade them to get married to make this a moral arrangement in God's eyes. Now, the culture could care less. Culture could care less. Christianity doesn't have much of a moral meaning to the bulk of the culture. So given that, she wants to persuade them. And it sounds like, I'm reading between your lines here, well, they're not moving. They're basically saying, we'll marry when we're ready to get married, correct?
I would say so.
Okay. So there is something she could do, and just from what you're describing of the history here, Simon, I wouldn't guess she's willing to do it, which is, guys, you can't live in my home anymore under that arrangement. Now, I suspect she'd be scared to death to do something like that because she doesn't know how her daughter's going to react. Her daughter could say, get out of my life. Is that a risk?
I would say so. Yeah, she would resent it pretty hard given the sort of history between them and the background. And
you're changing now, Mom. You got real religious now, Mom, huh? Holier than thou, huh, Mom?
Yeah, a lot of that. And she would, it would push her away. She would hate the church as well, right? It would be her mom and the church's fault.
Well, it really does come down to this. If your sister says, following the Lord is more important to me than anything, than any relationship, as Jesus said, he who doesn't hate mother or brother is not worthy of me. And what he meant was when it comes down to a clash between that relationship and my teachings, you got to go with my teachings. It doesn't sound, Simon, like what you're saying is that she's anywhere near the point of doing that. She would be scared to death that her daughter would say, I hate God, I hate you, we're going to leave. Don't try to contact us. Get out of our lives. Now, I suspect it wouldn't stay that way. I think at some point the daughter may soften. So if she's not willing to do that, which I would guess she's not, is that safe to say? She's not.
Well, I would say, I probably not, but, and then of course it's not just the daughter, it's the rest of the family and her grandparents and everything too, right?
So they would think that your sister would be terrible and horrible and evil for doing this.
Yeah, right.
One of these judgmental Christians.
Exactly.
Okay. So the social familial pressure on your sister is enormous. And the only thing that's going to overcome it is if she ever gets to the point where she says, following Jesus, his church, and his morals is the most important thing in my life. And I can't be a part of allowing my daughter to do this on my property. I have a duplex. I have a son living in one side, a daughter living in another. And she knows if there's a guy who comes in there and stays, she's out. I love her desperately, but that's not going to happen. I'm not going to let you rent my place at a cheap rent, and then you kind of parade guys through here. That's not happening. That is not happening. Where will she go? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the before the fact thing, though, too, right?
No comment. But I would say this: if you're asking what can your sister do to persuade them to get married, I don't think much. They're going to do it their way.
Yeah, no, that's.
And so she's got.
I'm not sure. I was looking for an answer. Just your thoughts on the situation and any insight given.
It does. I gave you my thoughts. It does come down to your sister saying, "I can't be part of something that I've now realized. I've grown into it. That it is immoral." And even though my daughter doesn't believe it's immoral, I do, and I'm sustaining it. I'm allowing them to live here in my trailer on my property. I can't do it anymore. And if she ever gets to that point, I'm gonna look over the border and see the nuclear cloud that goes off from family members and her daughter and boyfriend. Yikes. Okay, Simon, you take care, my friend. This is Dr. Ray.
Today's programming on Ave Maria Radio is brought to you in part by a gift from our day sponsors, Jim and Barb Oskvarek, celebrating their 50th anniversary on July 23rd. Having first met at a prayer meeting in Saginaw in 1975, they have since been blessed with 7 wonderful children and 21 beautiful grandchildren. God bless you, Jim and Barb, on 50 years together, with prayers and congratulations from all of us here at Ave Maria Radio on your golden anniversary.
If you have a message you want to share, be a day sponsor at 877-288-1077.
Your best leadership style isn't copied, it's cultivated. Your natural talents are the foundation that enables you to lead with clarity, authenticity, and purpose. Strategic thinking is one of the 4 Clifton Strengths domains. These talents help leaders absorb information, anticipate challenges, and make smart decisions. They are trust builders. Analytical leaders clarify complexity. Context leaders honor the past to guide the future. Futuristic leaders inspire with vision. Ideation sparks innovation. Input gathers resources. Intellection deepens dialogue. Learner models growth. And strategic, they cut through the clutter and chart the course forward. When you embrace these strengths, you create a Christ-centered culture of insight, foresight, and trust. Great leadership starts with knowing your strengths. This has been a Christ-centered communication message. I'm Vanessa Denhagarmo, a communications evangelist and host of Epiphany.
Underwritten in part by the following nonprofit.
Do you feel as though life is flying past you? Are you desperate for a way to find moments of peace and quiet? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian prayer series, will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
Reminder, if I don't get to you, please call back. You'll be first up. Laura is calling from Marble Falls, Texas. Man, I used to trade for Puries and cat eyes. The boulders were the best. You get a steely boulder, because when you played marbles with a steely boulder, it kind of took everything out. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Dr. Ray. So I've got to give you a little bit of background on my question, which is, when is it appropriate to tell a little 3.5-year-old, my granddaughter, who her real father is, which would, of course, be my son. A young lady came into his life. They got pregnant. He wanted to do the honorable thing, so they had the baby. Shortly after the baby was born, she blew it all up and wanted to get child support and move on to the next guy. And that's what she did. So she met another guy, dated him for a while, had this little granddaughter of mine in their home with her, in their apartment. He was then the dad, and she made it very difficult for my son to participate in that relationship, even though I'd bring her to our home as often as I could. Then she has another baby. So by this young man, the second young man. So now she's got 2 little girls. That relationship also blew up in the exact same manner. Now these little girls, both of them, are staying with the second young man's mom and dad in a very healthy environment. She's trying to give these little girls an opportunity to have a decent life and an upbringing. The second young man was able to, because of all these circumstances that happened, was able to actually get custody of his child. And due to some circumstances of my son, he would not be eligible for such a thing. All right, so fast forward to the moment. We're looking at this little girl now and thinking she needs to know who her real dad is. Her last name is our last name. It's on her birth certificate. And she asked, over 4th of July, she asked my son, who spent the whole weekend with her, who are you? What is your last name? Who is your mom and who is your dad? She was asking these very poignant questions for a 3.5-year-old. So we're feeling as though she's going to start figuring this out pretty soon. And I feel like to ward off the atomic bomb explosion that possibly could happen if she finds out that everybody's lied to her when she reaches that age of reason, we want to ward that off, but also do the right thing. And I'm honestly, I've been back and forth with this, but we don't want to walk away from this little girl. I have a really strong personal relationship with her. She loves, when she hears my name, she runs and jumps in my arms.
What is the visitation arrangement for your son?
Okay. Is fairly often, so what we do is we try to get her once a month. They live quite far, so it makes it a little bit difficult, but I drive and I get her. He's not allowed to go pick her up. There was an incident back.
So he really
several
doesn't
years
have
ago.
any kind of visitation arrangement. It just depends upon what the mom says.
And it depends on how often I can get her to my house.
Okay.
That's correct.
Well, is there a guy in the house that she thinks is her father?
Yes. Yes.
You asked,
So
when is it appropriate to tell a 3-year-old that her father, that she thinks is her father, is not, again,
Right.
when you say really her father, what you probably better say her biological father, because the guy that's raising
correct.
her is doing 99% of fatherhood.
No question about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my answer to that is, and this is, I am highly trained. It depends. Because, first of all, she's not going to understand at this point about the birds and the bees. She doesn't know what all
Correct.
that means. All she knows is that this guy that she sees once a month in her life has some kind of presence. But in terms of fatherhood, she's completely, as she gets older and older and older, she's going to see the other guy, if he sticks around, that is, as her father. Now, would mom say, yes, I want her to know that, in fact, at some point down the road here, when she can understand it better, you are her bio father? Or would mom say, no, I don't want you telling her?
That's a toss-up, but I think it would be the latter. She has a issue with both of the men. she can't stand either one of them. But she's,
Okay.
but
So you're
this
not
other
going to get any
family,
cooperation from her. You're not going to get cooperation
Probably
from her.
probably not a lot. Yeah.
Here's the other problem. If you go ahead and tell this little one that your son is her quote-unquote father, and she won't understand that. He's just a guy that comes in her life every so often.
Right. Uh-huh.
And the mother hears this, I'd be shocked if the mother didn't say, you're not going to see her anymore. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
one of
she's-
the conditions would be I'd want clearance from everybody. I've already talked to the.
Okay.
There's
Well, I'm going to have to let you go because we're 20 seconds away from the end of the show. You're going to have to find out from Mom. But it would still, I think, kind of be early to tell her this because she can't digest this at 3.5. She doesn't really know what the difference is between the guy who raises her and the guy who was involved in her pregnancy. That's something that, in my experience, is somewhat down the road. This is Dr. Ray. Thanks so much for joining me here. Appreciate it so very, very much. Call back, please, those of you who didn't get on. Walk with God, always.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.